Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich.
Count that money, man.
Now wipe the crust out of your eyes, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. GMGP. It is Friday, April 28th, 2023. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up. Ray G. And I appreciate y'all being in the damn building. We are recapping round one of the 2023 NFL Draft. We were streaming all night last night. I appreciate all of the Destination Devy fam being in the building. Happy to be here. Let's get it this morning. Dynasty Barry in the building. Tater Wolf, Rico Stone, Sham. What's up, baby? Jay Peters. Respect the Curve in the building. Robert L. Williams, 7 GOAT rings. We got a lot of people in here. Matt Bruning, Patrick, John. It's going to be a good show today. Whoo! Jay Rich, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm good, surprisingly. It was a late night, you know, streaming from 7:30 all the way till about midnight.
Yeah.
But the draft didn't disappoint. It was chaos. A lot to make of it, a lot to recap. Houston going all in on 1 and 2 was definitely something that was interesting. But, I mean, Ray, the story kind of has to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if you want to just hop right into it.
Well, we'll talk through it. Let's take our time. Let's take it slow. Let's walk it back. Shout out to the people that pay the bills. Underdog Fantasy, man. If y'all weren't on the stream last night, I don't know where you were, but Underdog Fantasy, we got something big, real big. Best Ball Mania 4 kicking off tomorrow, $15 in total prizes. You can use the code DEVY, You can scan that barcode or use the promo code WAKE UP. Not only do you get your money matched up to $100 if you're a first-time depositor, but you also get access to our Discord for free for the year. It's the biggest fantasy football tournament ever. Jay, I am pumped to get cracking on this. It's going to be a damn good time. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. But yeah, Jay, it was a great night last night. And before we do anything, I want to give a big round of applause. Round of applause to the DD family. Jay, we had over 1,200 people in our stream last night,
yes, sir.
Man. You know, it's we're no Pat McAfee here. We're not gonna get no 400,000 watching us, but for a couple of guys that just decided to do some crazy thing to kind of look around the space and see other creators with 100,000 subscribers, 50,000 subs, and they couldn't even do what we did, man. It's all because of y'all, because y'all rock with us. Y'all wake up every damn day. You sit through the crazy stuff that we do, but we appreciate it sincerely, rocking with us and our entire crew of just the unknowns. People don't know who any of the DD people are, but if you rock with us, you rock with us. So we're going to do it again tonight. So we're going live at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern time. And we'll be here with you streaming everything from the start to the finish of round 2 and 3. And then Mike and Adam will be back on Destination Devy on Saturday, and they will be hosting day 3 of the draft. I'll be on. Jay Rich will be on. We'll have other creators from Destination Devy on. So we got y'all locked down the entire weekend. And then after that, Sunday for you Dallas Cowboy fans, I'll be on Bleacher Report breaking down the Dallas Cowboys draft. I think Jay is breaking down the entire draft on Sunday, a power ranking show. So make sure you tap in to us over on Bleacher Report. But thank y'all for being here. Jay, round 1, man. You know,
you want to start with round 1, or do you want to start with what happened before round 1?
Yeah, let's start with what happened before round 1. That's a good way to do it, Jay. What happened before round 1?
Huge news, Ray. Finally, Lamar Jackson got his deal, $185 million guaranteed, $255 for the whole deal. probably the biggest news coming out of the draft, whether you think it's a pick, it's Lamar Jackson. We've been waiting for this for God knows how long. It finally helped the Ravens as well make their decision, who they're going to pick, the direction they're going to go, solidify things for them. And for fantasy, Ray, we got OBJ. We got Rashad Bateman. We now got Zay Flowers at 22. Lamar has pretty much everything he should need to thrive with pass catchers. Where would you rank him in Dynasty now? He's got the new contract, got the solidified deal with the Ravens. We kind of wanted him to stay in the Ravens. We thought it was the best situation for him. He's getting weapons added now to that offense. Where would you rank him?
Man, it's we kind of talked about this last night. So the big three are still the big three: Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and sort of right after that, consensus was Joe Burrow. Then after Burrow was Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert. I definitely would take him over Justin Fields. I'll tell you that right now. I would take Lamar Jackson over Justin Fields, not a doubt about it. I still think I would have Herbert ranked above him, but I'm taking him over Fields and I'm taking him over Trevor Lawrence. I'm taking him over Fields and I'm taking him over T-Law. So I think if he was sitting around Dynasty QB8, that'd where he was 6, going, right? An underdog. Yeah, he's at 6 now. I'm taking him over Lawrence and I'm taking him over T-Law.
Yeah.
If you're telling me I have to pull the trigger on one, I think they're kind of in the same tier. But you're talking about what, a 26-year-old former MVP that's got the best weapons he's ever had with Todd Monken. Yeah, I'll take Lamar Jackson right there at QB6, no doubt. I'm with you, Marcus. Yeah. Monken at OC is going to make a big difference. I'm with you. There's no way I would take. I'm just not taking Trevor or Justin Fields over him. So Herbert, and then maybe that's it. You know, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, but I think you could say he's kind of in that Burrow Herbert tier to some degree, and then we'd probably put T-Law and Fields just below them. Not really a tier break, but kind of like a half tier break between
it's
all
not
those
even
guys.
A tier. Yeah, not even a tier break. I just would prefer Lamar Jackson for fantasy football over Trevor Lawrence. I just would. I've seen it. I'm down with it. Did anything else happen prior? Big moves. So now we can expect with Lamar back in Baltimore, we can expect Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow at some point. And good for him,
they get
man.
their extensions.
Good for him. Good for him. Highest extension ever in NFL history. He got his bag. He got 180 guaranteed. He's got a $260 million contract. Damn good for Lamar Jackson, Jay. But let's get to the draft, man. Let's get to the draft where there was little intrigue with the 101. Bryce Young did end up going as the number 1 overall pick, as expected for about a week and a half now. It seems like he was going to be the consensus 101. And then the real intrigue started at 2, Jay, and there was a lot of talk. Will Levis was the betting favorite. They're going to go Will Anderson. CJ Stroud can't take tests, so he can't play football. There's no way he can go at 2. And at 102, the Houston Texans did not decide to collapse for Caleb. They went ahead and take CJ Stroud at number 2. So they've got their quarterback of the future, CJ Stroud. And then in a shocking move, they traded back up from 12, where everybody said that JSN would go, and they took Will Anderson 2-3. I mean, if that doesn't feel like a fantasy football trade, trading up to get the 103, Madden. I don't know what is, man. So just your thoughts on Houston. Now, they gave up a lot. They gave up a lot, man. Now. They gave up a lot, Jay. They gave up a lot in order to get CJ Stroud. They gave up their own 24 first, which is projected right now. Arizona is projected to have the 2 best picks in the 2024 NFL draft, according to Vegas Super Bowl odds right now. They would have the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick in 2024. And I said it a month and a half ago that Kyler Murray is on notice. I think he is. If Arizona is bad enough, I don't know if they would pass on Caleb Williams. I don't know if it has nothing to do with Kyler and how good he is. It's the fact that they'd be in the range to draft Caleb Williams. I think it's going to be a rat race between them and the Los Angeles Rams for the number 1 overall pick. And now the Rams are even kind of more doomed because the Arizona Cardinals got 2 shots at the number 1 overall pick. So it's going to be interesting to see that one play out. You know, I've read a lot after the draft about this selection, Jay, and It's going to be tough to surround him with pieces at least early. So, what are your thoughts on Bryce and CJ at the top of the draft?
I think you kind of hit on a lot of the points there that I would have made, right? When we talked about Bryce to Carolina, one of the big fears was the draft capital. They have a second round pick for day 2, but they don't have a first next year. So how are they going to build this receiver room up? Okay, Adam Thielen's there, DJ Shark, but we need some real guys that are playmakers that demand money, targets, all those things for Bryce Young to really make a competent offense. And we said the same thing about Stroud and Houston. Whoever goes to Houston, they got to, take a receiver at 12, take Marvin Harrison Jr. next year, whatever the plan is. Now that plan's gone to shit because they traded all that draft capital away for Will Anderson. And while Will Anderson is great for their team, it does not help us at all in fantasy. So I think the problem now is you're back to the original conundrum of, do you like Houston or Carolina better? Because I think the situations are almost the same. Neither team has a first-round pick next year. They have cap space, but is there going to be receivers available to sign? And they'll be competing for the same weapons. I think it just comes down to, do you prefer Stroud or do you prefer Young? And whatever your quarterback was initially, I think should probably stay the same, because I don't see the situations being a whole lot different right now. Do you see that differently personally?
I just wanted to read it, Jay. So the Texans gave up their second round pick this year, so the 33rd overall pick. So right at the top of the draft today, Arizona's got a top pick. Then they gave up their own first and their third round selections next year. So Houston still has a first next year that they got from Deshaun Watson, but it's Cleveland's first, which is probably not going to be a top pick to get. Yeah. And then they gave up the third rounder next year. They gave up a lot. I don't know, Jay.
Yeah. Then they got the third rounder back this year. I think it was 103 or something this year.
Yeah.
I believe they did get another one back, but still, it's a lot. It's a lot. And when we want multiple picks in the second round, late first round, to surround your players with weapons, I think they're going to need more than just one first next year to really get this team off the ground.
All of this could be true, but what I'm not going to do is sit here and try to project what they can do from a team building perspective. Ultimately, we got a high-level quarterback that was selected number 2 overall. So for Superflex, you can't ask for anything better, except maybe the landing spot or the talent around the player. But you got the first-round capital with the Houston Texans.
Are you still Bryce over Stroud today?
Yes.
Because you were kind of Bryce over Stroud, right?
I'm still Bryce over Stroud. Still Bryce over Stroud. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Still Bryce over Stroud. Will Anderson went 3, and then the big boy, the athletic one, number 4.
Number 10.
Overall.
And that's the RAS score.
Man, Anthony Richardson to the Indianapolis Colts. Jay, we've been talking about this landing spot for months now, that outside of Detroit, once it looked like Detroit was going to fade quarterback, we kind of knew that the Indianapolis Colts in that spot is just, it seems very good. Seems like a very fruitful situation there with Shane Steichen, with Jonathan Taylor, with Michael Pittman Jr., and then the young receivers, Alec Pierce and Jelani Woods that they drafted last year. But Anthony Richardson, the quarterback out of Florida, goes there. Most athletic physical specimen we've seen at the quarterback position in NFL history. We can now stop with is he Malik Willis 2.0 and all this slide. No, he didn't slide. He went top 5. He's a freak. He's a fantasy monster. He has the potential to break fantasy football. We've been talking about guys that could potentially sneak into that top 5 because it's so top heavy in Dynasty. No doubt in my mind, if I had my choice of any of these quarterbacks, and I've been saying it for weeks and months, Anthony Richardson is QB1. I'm not taking CJ Stroud. I'm not taking Bryce Young. I'm not taking this person or that person. Anthony Richardson is QB1. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be a monster. Him and Jonathan Taylor in the RPO game with Michael Pittman. I'm seeing people say, RIP Pittman, get out of here. What are you talking about, RIP Pittman? It's going to be good. I trust Shane Steichen. I trust Anthony Richardson. He's much better in the pocket than people gave him credit for. Everybody that was out there saying the Malik Willis shit, they just don't know ball. They didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So hopefully you don't listen to those individuals anymore. There was never a comparison between those two, and he hits a great landing spot like this. This is, I don't know what else you can add. I don't know from a super flex perspective what else you could really ask for when you got 3 of the 4 first picks being quarterbacks in super flex and you got one hidden Indy.
Yeah. No, Ray, you hit on all the good points there with Indy. It's the spot that we've wanted for a quarterback. And to be honest, we didn't really care who that quarterback was, whether it was Will Levis, whether it was CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. We just wanted the player to go in that Shane Steichen system and be able to perform because we believe he can build a great system around a quarterback. But we have to play the game now, Ray. Anthony Richardson is now in Indianapolis. He is your QB1. Would you take him over Justin Fields? Startup draft, you have your first round pick. Anthony Richardson's obviously available. You're 109, 110, 111. You're staring down the barrel of Justin Fields.
I legitimately might.
Okay.
I legitimately
we're starting
might.
high then.
I legitimately might.
QB 8, 11th overall in KTC ranks right now. Your pick 11, staring down the barrel of Justin Fields or Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. If I had 10 of those slots, I'd probably go 50-50. I'd probably split it. If I only had one and I had to make one pick and that's all I get, I'd probably take A-Rich. I got the re-roll. I got the first round capital. Fields is dope. He performed well last year, but I'm going to believe in Indianapolis right now. So I would take him at 1 for 1. If I had 10 of them, I'd probably split it 50-50. But if you're asking me right now, I think I would take him over Justin Fields right now.
All right, Kyler Murray.
Yes, A-Rich.
Deshaun Watson is the last one.
Anthony Richardson. I would take
him
over
all those. And then Dak Prescott.
A-Rich.
Yeah, he's already ahead of Dak Prescott in KTC ranks. So you're basically saying you would have him right around QB9, right? Maybe you wouldn't put him quite ahead of Fields in the ranks, but you'd have him right at QB9, right around, maybe 16 to 12 or so overall.
Yeah,
because you've got right now.
Said he'd take Fields. He's risk averse. I'm not gonna think you can. I think you're in a good spot. I'm playing fantasy football, not GM. I'm not trying to win a Super Bowl with Indy. I want somebody that's gonna score me points. You're talking about a quarterback who could rush the ball 150 times a season. He gets A-Rich gets 150 carries. How many yards is he gonna have?
Yeah.
Like, how many yards is he gonna have?
6 yards a carry, 7 yards a carry, easy.
This is very, very, very good for fantasy, and this is why I've always asked the question, Jay, and we'll get there in a second. Yep. In Superflex, should there be a conversation about him at 101? And I absolutely think there should be. So, Jay, we move down the board a little bit, and within a span of 5 picks, we had 2 running backs come off the board again for fantasy football. I don't know what else you can ask for. Bijan Robinson had been rumored to the Atlanta Falcons for a very long time, and that actually came to fruition. Bijan was drafted by ATL at 8, and then a mere 4 picks later, the Detroit Lions, after they traded back from their 6th spot, they picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, the stud running back out of Alabama. In between there, you saw the Philadelphia Eagles, my God, get Jalen Carter.
All right.
Then you saw, all right. Let's not even talk about that. Then you saw the Chicago Bears get Justin Fields protection. And I liked what they did. They got Darnell Wright. Some people thought he was the best tackle in the class, and he went as tackle 1 in this draft. So there you go.
Tackle 2. He went behind Paris, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, behind Paris, tackle 2. Then Peter Skoronski right there at Tennessee to help out Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. And the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs, Jay. I have read a lot of different things this morning. Yeah. And the takes are all over the place. Some people think Atlanta's horrible for Bijan Robinson. People let's start with that one. And the people that think I've been reading a lot. This is worst case scenario for Bijan. This just nukes Kyle Pitts. It nukes Drake London. And I'm like, how are people Tyler Algier was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Algier. And Bijan Robinson is significantly better. He's significantly better than Tyler. Yeah, he's way better than Tyler Algier. I don't know how this is bad for Bijan Robinson. Like, I don't get that. I don't get people saying that this is bad for Robinson. And then conversely with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jay, the entire process, every mock, Jordan, mock, it was Bijan Robinson, the clear-cut RB1, which we all agreed with. You saw the range from 8 to Atlanta, 10 to Philly, mid-teens. Not one point in time did we ever see Jahmyr Gibbs, Jordan. Not one point in time did we ever see Gibbs close to Bijan Robinson in a mock. He was always in the second round.
maybe in the 20s, usually in the 30s.
Now the NFL said he's 4 picks. He's in the same range. Bijan goes 8, Gibbs goes 12. And what I'm seeing about Gibbs is people not liking the move for Detroit and saying, oh, they could have gotten him at 18. First of all, you don't know if that is true or not, that he would have been there at 18. You don't know. Team could have jumped him. But the fact of the matter is he did get picked at 12. And if you look at the running backs who have been selected inside the top 15, like over the last 5 years, they're all studs.
Not a lot.
They're all good. All of them. Even Melvin Gordon, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, Zeke, name them.
Todd Gurley would have been in there.
Like Breece Hall was RB1 a couple of weeks ago, and he got picked in the 2nd round by the Jets. Now, no, Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't profile as a guy that's going to carry the ball 30-something times a game, but this is not a Clyde Edwards-Helaire situation where a bad player got picked too high. This is a dope player that some people said was just as good, if not better, than Bijan Robinson because of the skill set, getting selected top 12 in the NFL from an offense that was top 5 in the NFL last year, the last 8 games of the season. I'm not worried about freaking David Montgomery. Are people serious this morning? Are people kidding me being nervous about David Montgomery? Jay, you were talking about it this morning before the show, how many times DeAndre Swift was stopped just short of the goal line and they throw Jamal in there to gobble up those touchdowns. I mean, it's a clear indication that they're not in love with DeAndre Swift, and we continue to say your best ability is availability in the NFL, and if you can't 100%. Stay on the field, they're not gonna play around with you. So this is a clear. I don't think DeAndre Swift will be a Detroit Lion after this weekend.
No, doesn't seem like it.
What? David Montgomery is going to slow this guy down? And to be honest with you, I prefer. We keep why do we keep saying the same shit and people not listen? The NFL, there were only a handful of bell cow running backs in the NFL.
Now there's none.
Period. They just don't do that. They just don't turn around and give one guy the ball 30 times a game. They're deploying multiple. I want somebody to take the load off of. I want Algier to get some carries to keep I don't want Bijan getting the ball 30 times a game. I hope they incorporate Tyler Algier into the offense to keep Bijan fresh and keep him healthy and keep him efficient and keep him awesome. What are people freaking out about Jahmyr Gibbs? Are you kidding me?
Okay, so let's start with Detroit, right? So just quickly looking at DeAndre Swift's stats from last season, Ray, I think we'd be pretty happy if in 14 games, Jahmyr Gibbs had 100 carries for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 70 targets for 48 receptions, 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Jahmyr Gibbs could do a lot more than that and have a lot more touches than that because Jamal Williams had 262 rush attempts last year. I don't expect Dave Montgomery to do that. And so if you project forward and you say, well, Swift got 100 carries and 70 targets in 14 games. Imagine what he would have got if he played a full season, was healthy, and now you put a faster, more explosive, arguably more talented Jahmyr Gibbs in that same spot. And what are we looking at? A guy who can get 140 carries and 100 targets in a season? Are we not going to take that for fantasy simply because of David Montgomery? Is that what we're going to do here? Go ahead. Give David Montgomery his 250 carries. That's fine. He can get his 10 touchdowns or whatever he's going to get. But if you're telling me that Jahmyr Gibbs has a quote-unquote theoretical baseline of 70 targets as a rookie, he's going to do a lot with those 70 targets. He will. He will do a lot. And I will happily take that on my rosters. The question is, though, Ray, isn't so much would I take it, it's how high
That's
is he
the
going to
question.
go?
We did, and Vaughn just
how
said.
How high is he going to go?
Shout out to my guy, Vaughn Hodges, man. Shout out to Vaughn. Vaughn said the Lions picked him at 12. That tells me how I need to feel about Gibbs. Really, that's what it is. That's really what it is. I'm with Barry. Barry asked the question, Ray, do the Lions force feed Gibbs into the 60% role, or does Monty eat that and they use Gibbs in the high-level proper 40? I pray it's the high-level proper 40. I pray.
Yeah, I was telling Ray, I was looking for 50%, and I think it's liftoff. If he can just get somewhere close to there, liftoff for Jahmyr Gibbs. And that capital says he probably will.
Let Monty slam it up the A-gap. Please, let him slam it up the A-gap 15 times a game. And Do you know how dynamic this offense is going to look with Ben Johnson's scheme? I am. The
Once
question is
J-Mo
how,
gets back.
the question is how high. So we did a 2-round rookie mock based on last night, and Mike McNutted, Iowa Michael, 4D chess, one of the captains of that ship, unequivocally says Jahmyr Gibbs should be 103. That he would take him over C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young in Superflex, and I'm saying his name, Mike 4D,
Iowa Michael on Twitter.
QB,
Adam
4D QB horde, all QBs all the time. He said it's not even a question. He's taking Jahmyr Gibbs 103. It's going to be interesting to see, Jay, because going into this process, a lot of the debate was between, could you take JSN as high as 103, 104? I don't think we're doing that anymore. We like the landing spot, but I don't think we're taking him 103, 104. It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out with these running backs, and then we haven't even gotten to the receivers who got great capital. So let's just continue to go down the board a little bit. We'll go back, and somebody said something about we don't want Bijan to get 30 carries. That's cap. No, that is actual factual football stuff. Like, no, I don't want him getting 30 carries a game. You don't need that. If you're efficient, keep your young stud safe. Don't ride him into the goddamn dirt. Like, no, I don't want to see him get 30 carries. Let's continue to go. Pittsburgh, Jay, we've been asking who's kind of a low-key, high-key big winner this offseason. Kenny Pickett. The Pittsburgh Steelers took my top tackle in the draft, Broderick Jones, at 14. They continue to surround Kenny Pickett. They needed offensive line help. It's a great pick. He feels like a Steelers.
To go get him, right? So you know that they wanted him bad. And Kenny Pickett needs him. Najee needs him. Deontay needs him. Pickens needs him. They all need him.
This is good. Yeah. And I do believe they invested in offensive line and free agency. I don't know. Can't quite remember. They tried to bring some guys in. But
nothing, this is, I don't think anybody high priority.
Yeah, nothing significant, but this is great.
I think
for
they
Pittsburgh.
took the guard from the Eagles. That's the guy they brought in. I forget his name, though.
Okay. All right. Well, good for Pittsburgh. The Jets go edge rusher with Will McDonald. Some interesting picks here in the middle. The Commanders were kind of in that range. Do they take Will Levis? And they went Emmanuel Forbes. They needed defensive back help. Jay, your Patriots, they definitely needed a receiver, but my God, Christian Gonzalez at 17.
Steal the draft. Steal the draft. Traded back from 14. Still got Christian Gonzalez behind Forbes. Bill did something. He made up for that Cole Strange pick with this one. Picked up a fourth to get another player later in the draft by trading back. Still got the guy that everyone wanted. They had him up there right behind Witherspoon as CB2, and the Pats just scooped him up at 17. Phenomenal pick there. Easily would have been top player on the board for me, so I'm glad they got him there. That was a great pick.
Yeah, Marcus said this is the new version of Swift and Williams for them. Ryan Edwards, top 3 picks in Superflex, Bijan, Richardson, and Gibbs. There you go. Edward Ryan, there he goes. Yeah, this is the Washington Commanders passed on Levis, so Sam Howell is at least safe for a season, it feels like. We'll see how he and Jacoby Brissett play out, but at least for now, but there still are 2 quarterbacks that could make some noise. We continue to push down the board a little bit. We saw Jack Campbell, Kalijah Cansey. Then the Seattle Seahawks took wide receiver 2 off the board, or 1. Was JSN 1 or 2? Wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 1. So the first receiver doesn't go off the board till 20, and this is Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Seattle Seahawks. And then right after that, it was just receiver. JSN, Quentin Johnston, Jay, your boy QJ.
Oh man, not looking good for my QJ fade right now. Not looking good.
Oh, buddy. And
not looking good.
You get Zay Flowers to Baltimore, and Jay, one of the picks that we willed this one to existence for a long time. Addison to the Vikings. What a fit next to Justin Jefferson. Let's just start with Addison. Let's work our way back up to JSN.
Oh, buddy.
Addison to Minnesota, Jay. Is there a conversation? Well, let me just ask you this. Addison to Minnesota, QJ tethered to Herbert and LAC with Kellen Moore, or JSN in that, offense with Geno Smith and DK Metcalf. Who's wide receiver 1?
I honestly don't know. I think for me right now, I'm still leaning JSN. But Ray, I don't think I was more excited for a pick in the draft than seeing Jordan Addison go to Minnesota. Minnesota, to me, if they had Kirk Cousins locked up, it would be so easy to take him. Adam Thielen had 107 targets last year. KJ Osborne had 90 targets last year. TJ Hawkinson had 86, and he was traded for midseason. So, like, you look at what they have. Addison could walk into a 100-target role. He's never going to be the one. Okay, he's never going to be the one. There's your main concern. But he's playing next to the best receiver in football. He's going to be open. If he can get open, he will be wide open. He'll see single coverage. He'll hopefully draw some coverage away from Jefferson. And if he doesn't, he'll be targeted a lot because he should be wide open half the time. So the fact that you get a receiver that can walk into, in theoretically, a 100-target situation is a good spot. QJ could be the one, but when's that going to be? Is that going to be in 2 years? That could be in 3 years. And then JSN in Seattle, great spot, but probably going to play behind Tyler Lockett this year unless something happens. And then can he supplant DK to be the number one target? Maybe in some situations. I think it's kind of co-alphas like we've seen in Seattle for some time. So I don't think you have a situation where you're getting any major alphas. And I didn't mention Zay Flowers in Baltimore. We'll see what the offense becomes, but maybe he could be the alpha over the long term in Baltimore. But Mark Andrews obviously still there. I think you have a bunch of guys who could see a ton of targets, but in some ways, Ray, I think that Minnesota really is the best spot. I like QJ with Justin Herbert. That, for me, is a massive upgrade because I thought he could go to a shittier spot like the Giants, maybe to Baltimore where he wouldn't have thrived. Now he has a quarterback. People are going to have QJ at number one, but I still think I would have JSN and potentially even Jordan Addison ahead of them because I think they could see good roles down the line. But if you really project QJ to be that one, that alpha, then he kind of has to be wide receiver one.
It's tough, right? I
It's tough to figure out right now.
I don't think I would put Jordan Addison at one. I mean, he's still the spot's great. Capital's
I can't put him ahead of JSN.
But he's still playing next to Justin Jefferson, and he's going to gobble up 160 targets a year, and that's just what it's going to be.
He got 180, and there was still 107 for wide receiver too.
Yeah. What the hidden sort of secret in all of this is there was a lot, and they could still take Hendon Hooker or Will Levis in the second round to develop behind Kirk Cousins.
Absolutely.
But if they don't, Jay, does this mean Kirk Cousins is safe for another season? Not just this season, but they're not going to be bad enough to pick a quarterback next year. I don't know what they do. It feels like they're kind of, if they don't get one of those developmental guys in round two, could this mean another year or two for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota?
That's a really good point, Ray. And I think that's what's so interesting is that if they don't get a quarterback today, you'd think they should be on the phone with Kirk Cousins' agent immediately because they're probably going to need him beyond next season, right? Like heading beyond this season and going into the further season because they just can't afford for him to walk and ultimately end up somewhere else. So I think you're right. You know, hopefully it could break before our rookie drafts because if I told you Kirk Cousins got a 3-year extension, fully guaranteed on the Minnesota Vikings, announced Sunday morning at 8 a.m., would that change your Jordan Addison ranking at all, knowing that he will be tied to Kirk Cousins for the foreseeable future of his rookie contract? No?
He's still playing next to Justin Jefferson, man. He's still playing next to the Jets. I just can't do it.
But that's what we said about Devontae Smith, too. And I think he surprised us.
It's fair.
Right?
That's fair. I'm still not doing it.
I'm with you. It's definitely a reasonable case. But if you believe that Addison could be that dude, there's still a lot of targets in Minnesota that are available. And if Addison can get 100 of those, good for a rookie year. And then like Smitty did, he built off that in his second year.
He did build off of it in his second year. Maybe. But right now, it's still JSN for me. I still think the landing spot is great. The same thing that we said about Kirk Cousins could be said about Geno Smith. Like he seems to be safe. Like if you invested in Geno Smith in an auction, he cost you nothing in an auction startup. If you do traditional snake drafts, he was going low, and they didn't replace him. They said Seattle Seattle had another opportunity to take a quarterback. Will Levis could have taken him at 20, and they said no thanks. We'll take JSN. So he's got great wide receivers to learn from. While the production this year, this is what you don't need to do. If you draft Ashton Smith and Jigba, and midway through the season, he's third in targets on the team, which he should be. Don't panic. Don't sell. Don't get nervous. Don't do any of that. Like, Lockett is good, but it's only a matter of time before he takes over, and you're looking at DK Metcalf and JSN as the top two receivers in Seattle. Zay Flowers to Baltimore. I'll just say this. I think it is excellent for Lamar Jackson. There's no doubt that right now the weapons that Lamar Jackson has at his disposal are hands down the best weapons he's ever had, ever in his career. You have Odell Beckham on one side. You got Zay Flowers on the other side. You got Rashad Bateman in the slot. You have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely as their two tight ends. And you have J.K. Dobbins as your running back with Todd Monken as OC. Best weapons. If there's any quarterback this year that can challenge the big three for QB1 overall finish, it's Lamar freaking Jackson. And I am excited to see him in this new look offense in Baltimore. All right, the Giants took Deonte Banks at 24. They needed some cornerback help.
I liked that pick.
And then we got the Buffalo Bills, Jay, selecting Dalton Kincaid. First tight end off the board, was projected to go a little bit higher. Buffalo trades up, and they get their guy at 25 to give Josh Allen another weapon. What's interesting about Dalton Kincaid is they paid Dawson Knox, a year ago? 2 years ago, they paid Dawson Knox.
They gave him a full extension.
And now they're bringing in Dalton Kincaid, the top tight end in the class. The only tight end that went round one. There's a lot of smoke. 3-4 tight ends could go round one. One goes, and it's towards the back of the first round. So Dalton Kincaid in Buffalo. How are you feeling about this one?
I feel all right. We believe they needed more weapons over the middle, so I'm not entirely shocked. But again, like you mentioned, Dawson Knox's extension, he's still on the hook for $26 million right now, and that's over the next 2 years. He's still owed $20 million in 2024. So if we believe that Dawson Knox is going to get reps, which obviously I believe he does, how does Dalton Kincaid kind of fit into this puzzle? Does he kind of work in the slot? Where the target's going to come from? Of course, we love him attached to Josh Allen, but is the opportunity going to be less than what we actually expect because simply there's just not enough targets to go around? Gabe Davis potentially could leave. That could open some things up, but I mean, do you expect him to even out-target Dawson Knox in his rookie year? Because I probably wouldn't. I think we probably see a split. He could play in the slot, which would be great. But it's a curious pick. They hopped Dallas, and Dallas didn't even go after the tight end. So I'm not really sure where this leaves Buffalo now. I think it's a fine selection by the Bills. But overall, I don't know if it changes much for me in fantasy because I was maybe taking a mid-second at the high end, and I think I'd probably prefer another tight end potentially now over him. He did get the first-round draft capital, which is great. The landing spot is good, but the opportunity is kind of still to be figured out for me, at least, in Buffalo. Do you feel any differently about that?
I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like Allen uses the tight end, but maybe if they play him in that big slot, maybe he's the big slot. And this is
that they need, yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with Matt. I'm with Matt. I'm with Vaughn.
I mean, Knox last year had 65 targets.
What did the slot have? What did McKenzie have? Can you look up Isaiah McKenzie?
It was split. Yeah, 1 second. Give me
I know it was split, and I know McKenzie wasn't the full-time slot. I don't know. I think it's a great NFL fit.
The slot role is great. So you had 65 go to McKenzie, and then 20 to Shakur. A lot went to Singletary, and then Knox had his 65. I mean, usually the slot role is 100 targets for Allen, right? But Gabe Davis had 93, Diggs had 154, and then 65 was the next for McKenzie, but he only played in 15 games. So, could all those targets go to Kincaid? Sure. I wouldn't expect that. I expect Shakur to get some targets. They brought in Deontay Hardy. He can get some targets. But I don't know who's going to assume this slot role right now. I think that's part of the problem. And if it's not Kincaid... But if it's not, even if it is Kincaid, is he going to see 75 targets? I guess that would be pretty good for a tight end.
I think that what's going to happen in rookie drafts are people are going to see the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to get the boost, right? The Bills boost.
Yeah, the Bills bump for sure. For sure. When Dawson Knox is locked in for 2 years.
I think he's a fantastic tight end prospect. I probably won't have a lot of them because he's going to cost a little bit more than I'm willing to pay, but he
only first round tight end, right? There's all those factors.
He may be one of those tight ends you can buy back afterwards. Think about all the tight ends that are still everybody's still left. Jay Mayer,
everybody,
and Kraft, and Laporta, and Washington, and Musgrave. So I just got to. Today's going to be the real day for fantasy where we start to shake out the board. Today is the day. Today is the day we got to be tapped in with. All right, I got to talk about my selection for the Dallas Cowboys. Big Mozzie Smith was selected, and I thought about this. Man, I did a lot of I had
Soul
to,
searching
I had
after
the
that
soul
stream.
search, and this was. There's no doubt this was a need for Dallas. They were awful in the middle. They had to go find Jonathan Hankins, and Osa's good. This is an unsexy pick. It's unsexy. No one's going to go out and buy a Mozzie Smith jersey. But you're talking about an athletic 325-pounder in the middle. This is the best thing for Leighton Vander Esch. It's good for the secondary. And you know who it's really good for? It's good for Micah Parsons, and it's good for DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yep.
And in a division where we got to deal with Daniel Jones running around, you got to deal with Jalen Hurts. Who knows what Sam Howell is? I trust and believe in the same way we talk about believe in Brian Daboll. You know what coach I truly believe in almost more than anybody in the NFL? It's our defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. And this Dan Quinn had to sign off on this. In order for this to happen, Dan Quinn signed off on it. So I'm fine with Mozzie Smith. Is it a reach? Maybe, but I'm fine with it. I'm looking at the corners that were on the board at this point. There was no corner worth taking. There was no edge. Will McDonald wasn't there.
It was just Brise, right? Was the only other DT that was available.
Brian
so obviously
Brise,
they took him over him.
Brian Brise, or they could have gone Michael Mayer, which I thought they did. But maybe Dallas thought we get Mozzie Smith here. There's a shit ton of tight ends we can get round 2 or round 3. So I'm fine with it. Not fantasy relevant, but my Cowboys made the pick. Had to talk about it. So as we scroll down the rest of the board after Dallas, Cincinnati went Miles Murphy. The Jacksonville Jaguars opted to protect their franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence with Anton Harrison, the tackle out of Oklahoma. I believe Cam Robinson is he suspended for the year?
6 games. I don't know if it was the year or 6 games, but he was PEDs. Performance enhancing drugs, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. And then, we talked about Brian Brzee to D-tackle to the New Orleans Saints. Good pick. I'm sure Dennis Allen will like that. And Miles Murphy, good pick for Cincinnati there. We all kind of thought maybe a tight end as well. And then the Chiefs rounded it out with the athletic freak from Kansas State. I can't pronounce his name, but they got him best comp to Dante Fowler. So they get an edge defender. Chiefs they just make Kansas City Chiefs moves. And that was round 1, Jay. So we did not mention Will Levis, who was not selected in round 1.
Oh, boy. Not good. Scott Connor was on the stream last night. He said he's out on Will Levis.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Out. Ray, so I got a question for you, though. Let's talk about this now. Next picks on the board. The Steelers, the Cardinals, the Lions, the Colts, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Raiders. Could he go in any of those picks? I think we still believe Raiders is an option. Seattle's an option. Rams is an option.
If he goes, I didn't even talk about Philadelphia. I'm not even gonna.
Nolan Smith.
I'm not gonna mention.
Projected at 10, but they got him at 30.
I'm not even talking about Philadelphia today. I've got little to talk about with Philadelphia. Just insane. Raiders, they were rumored to like him. Now, if he's selected early, I'm not going to say he's dead. If the Raiders take him here at the top of the second.
He'd be top 38.
Okay.
It's fine capital. It's not great, but.
It's not great. It will allow you to still take him. Back of the first, early second round, I'm fine.
Is he a first rounder? If he goes in the top 40 picks, is he a first rounder?
Give me a spot. Give me a spot. Let's say
the Raiders, because I think Seattle, he's probably a first rounder.
Okay,
but on the Raiders,
I'm pulling up round 2 right now. Let's look at this. Let's look at spots where you could. Okay, Pittsburgh, no.
Steelers, no. Arizona probably not. Detroit probably not.
No.
Indy, no way.
No.
It's Rams, Seahawks, Raiders, and then maybe Tennessee at 41 is an option as well.
Rams, I don't think so. I think they are committed to the tank.
I think so too. I think they trade out of that pick.
Seahawks potentially, Raiders potentially, Titans at 41 potentially, and then you got the Falcons at 44, the Pats at 46, the Commanders, the Lions.
Because the Seahawks have 37 and 52.
50 is the cutoff point. I mean, Tampa Bay could take them. The Lions, the Commanders. I don't think New England's going to do it. Falcons, I don't think they're going to do it. Tennessee, maybe. Tennessee, maybe. The Saints.
Tennessee's a maybe, I think. Saints probably aren't going to do it.
If he goes,
and the crazy thing is we're on Hooker watch here too, because Hooker could go
what I mean.
in the same spots. So it's like now we're projecting both these guys to go in the same spot, and I really don't know who the right pick is.
Yeah,
but he could go top 50 pretty easily, because that's going all the way to Tampa Bay, which is a quite a few different spots. We've heard rumors of Washington looking quarterback. Detroit has 3 picks in the second round, so Hooker could easily be one of those picks. Levis could easily be one of those picks. They've been going luxury pick after luxury pick, every pick.
We haven't seen the running backs and other wide receivers, of course. But to be fair, Jay, I'm looking at the receivers that are left. Jalen Hyatt, if he gets the Capitals, a first rounder.
I want to see him go to Indy, Ray. 35.
I don't know about. Oh my.
35. Give me Jalen Hyatt to Indy at 35. Or heaven forbid you see Jalen Hyatt to Detroit at 34.
Yeah.
You said it all last night. If there's one guy who could potentially be not putting JMO on notice, but us be like, our ears got to perk up and be like, are we really seeing this right now? They already did this with Swift. They said, Swift, you're gone. Your days are over. We got Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not trying to say JMO's dead, but it would mean something if they took Jalen Hyatt, because they the same archetype of receiver.
Those are good. Oh, I don't think that
Mango. Look at Marlon.
Sam, I don't think they'll go Mayer because of Jelani Woods, but
they got good tight ends already. Good enough tight ends at least.
I think Indy's going to load up. Back to Levis. If he goes to one of those spots, I'm not out. If he goes to Tennessee at 41, I'm not top
first
10
rounder.
In.
I don't think so. Tennessee's not a first rounder. I think Seattle, he could be a first rounder, because I think you believe in the spot, you believe in the talent, everything they have there. Outside of that, the Raiders, not a first rounder for me. Maybe a 203. Tennessee, I think it's the same situation. I don't want players on Tennessee. Is Derrick Henry going to be there when Will Levis starts? Probably not. So we got Treylon Burks. We'll see what else they do in the draft. Chiggy. It's fine. But it's still tough. They got to figure that spot out. So that's tough.
Okay.
Do you see the Packers go tight end here?
Well, 45. Let me just my cutoff for Levis, Jay. I'm just going to tell you where I will be out is if he falls past Tampa Bay at 50. If he goes past Tampa at 50,
would you extend that to 52? You do have Seattle at 52.
Fuck.
You do have Detroit at 55.
All right, we'll just see where he goes. We're not going to keep doing this. Goddamn. What else are we talking about? Who else didn't get picked? All the tight ends. Today's going to be
Mayer.
Fun. All the tight ends.
Yeah, like Downs obviously didn't get picked.
All the tight ends.
All the tight ends. Running backs galore. So the thing, and Ray, we talked about this on stream. So if you weren't on stream with us yesterday, one of the big talking points was what happens with the running backs, because they went a little higher than expected. Gibbs was not supposed to be a top 15 draft selection. Does this push up Tajay Spears? Does this push up Kendry Miller? Does this push up Zach Charbonnet? Does this push up whoever is RB3, RB4, RB5 in the class into the second round?
I think
we thought maybe it was Gibbs in the second round and potentially Charbonnet.
I know.
Now it seems if this is happening and this is kind of the trend, if it continues, we might see mid-second running back after mid-second running back after mid-second running back, like we saw in 2020. And we believe this class is talented, but again, not necessarily demanding that draft capital. So I'm curious if the trend continues. I think what's going to sour us a little bit, Ray, is the wide receivers. We like this whole Jonathan Mingo, Cedric Tillman in the first round, second round. I don't see it at this point. I think those guys are probably third rounders at best. Yeah. And maybe we see the boost really come from the running back, because it seems like some of these guys are in on these running backs opposed to what being in on the receivers. Like teams need receivers, but Mingo and all these guys aren't going to make a difference.
Look at this list. We got Izzy. We got Evans. We got
A-Chain. Didn't even mention him.
Damn. Spears, McBride, Bigsby, Chase Brown, Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson. I think we're going to hear his name come off the board early. This is
lots of guys.
Let's look at the receivers. Let's take a look at wideouts. What we got left at wide receiver. Hyatt, Downs.
Hyatt, yeah.
See,
Tillman,
this is
Tyler
where
Scott,
I'm just like, Jay. I mean, the ones you want are the ones who went last night and the ones that go early today. Hyatt, Downs, and we'll see.
And
We'll
Gavin
see.
asked the question, you guys taking second round running backs over second round wide receivers? And absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe Hyatt is the only one because I think he's, potential first round talent who fell to the second round because they don't think he has a diverse enough skill set. But Downs, maybe we'll see where he goes, but I don't expect him to be vaulting up my draft board anytime soon. Marlon coming after you, Ray.
Yeah, what was your super chat yesterday, Marlon, about 102? Is it that damn league where I'm not trading you 102, Marlon? You send bad offers. Send some good offers. Gibbs at 12 is auto buy. Swift manifesting Izzy. Roshan to Dallas. Marcus, let me ask you, since my dog Marcus, man, shout out to Marcus, man. Even though he's a Texas Longhorn, he's good in my book. Marcus, how you feeling about Mozzie Smith? Talk to me, man. Talk to me. Yeah, David, I think a lot of running backs are going to get picked tonight. Yes, hit that like button. Hit the like button. We got 660 freaking people in here today. Jay, call your shot today. Let's talk. Call your shot. Hendon Hooker, where's he go? Does he get top 50 capital? Is Hendon Hooker going in the top 50 today? You don't think so?
I think he's going 52 to Seattle. That's where I would peg him. I would probably say 52 to Seattle, and that's a spot we have seen before, right? So Seattle has 37. I think they probably go a different direction, although they could potentially go receiver or offense there. I think Seattle's 52 makes more sense. Probably not.
They're not
probably
going
not.
receiver.
I didn't expect them to go. The thing is that they probably need an edge now or a DT, but I don't really know where they would go at 37 with that pick. Maybe they trade down because I didn't expect them to take Witherspoon so high, and then obviously they came back with JSN. So that's kind of off the tip of them. But I think 52 seems like the right spot. But it's still the question of where does Levis go and where does Hooker go? Because now they're both on watch.
Right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Who got nuked? Who just got absolutely eviscerated? Dynasty value.
It's got to be Rashad Bateman. It's got to be Rashad Bateman. I think that Tyler Algier is interesting, and we didn't really talk about the situation with Bijan and Algier. But the Atlanta Falcons were number one in rushing last year. They had two running backs with 144 carries or more. So even if you think Tyler Algier is dead, he may be a guy who receives 120 carries, and that's going to be valuable. But Bijan obviously will receive the lion's share. The issue will be is how much do they throw to the running back? Because of those two running backs, they only combined for 48 targets. So that's a bit of a problem between CPAT and Algier. They combine 48 targets. But, I mean, they'll manufacture touches for Bijan, but 355 rush attempts for those two running backs in Atlanta, led the league in rushing. So, I don't think he's nuked. I think the real loser is Swift, is obviously number one, because he's done. His days are over, right? And then I think Bateman is another one that it's hard to believe in him now. They brought in Zay Flowers. They're not even using Bateman in this, outside role. He's running a lot of intermediate stuff, and I think that Zay Flowers could do that better than him. And at that point, it's like, where's he going to fit in here? With OBJ rumored to try and get D-Hop as well. Still got Andrews. Like, Bateman could be completely nuked by the time this is all over. Completely nuked.
Man, Bateman is definitely the one who got screwed. There's no doubt about it.
Is there any fallout for you with Keenan Allen, do you think?
No, Keenan's old. I mean, this is a move. Keenan's old. Mike Williams can't stay healthy. You can't have a weapon like Justin Herbert and not give him weapons. You have to
just continue to load up.
I honestly think that had Seattle not taken JSN, he would have been a Charger. JSN would have been a Charger, and we would have been talking about him 103, right? Algier definitely got hurt. But here's the thing, and Scott said last night he was a 5th round pick. This is what happens with those guys. But coming off
not be pegged up all the way at the top.
He should have been pegged up at the top. I think Bateman was the real big loser. DeAndre Swift, just trade him. I mean, did you see the reaction of Detroit picking Gibbs? I mean,
ecstatic.
Slamming the table, going crazy in the room. I will say this about Atlanta, man. And Jay, and if y'all have been following, I was not the biggest Desmond Ridder fan coming out of Cincinnati. Just wasn't. I just was like, I don't really like him. Those final 4 games that he played, pretty nice. Right. It was not bad. It was much better than Marcus Mariota.
63%, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 700 yards in those 4 games.
Got Drake London the ball.
Not bad.
With Arthur Smith, London, Pitts, and Bijan, it makes Ritter's job a lot
No
easier.
excuses.
It makes it. I am cautiously optimistic that he could be a sneaky guy where you look up and you're like, damn, he was a lot better than I thought he was, And we kind of did this last year with Seattle and Geno Smith. I'll fade everybody in Seattle. They all are going to stink. You got one of the run heaviest teams in the league with two big weapons on the outside and a quarterback who played well his final 4 games. I'm slowly coming around to Desmond Ridder in this offense. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
They ain't taking no quarterback. Like, they've been very steadfast that he's our guy. So he's going to have every opportunity. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Jalen Hurts or be some all-world beater. But in the world in which we're just looking for starts at the quarterback position, where you're look down the end of the season and you got Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford and Tom Brady and all these players that aren't playing and you're looking for starts, I need to score points. I think Desmond Ridder is going to have a good opportunity to do that, Jay. And it doesn't
All right,
seem
Ray.
like
So
it's going to be replaced.
this is the question then. Where would you take Will Levis now in a startup? We don't have his draft capital yet. We don't know what team he's playing for. Would you take a Desmond Ridder over Will Levis?
Yeah.
Would you take a Sam Howell over Will Levis?
No.
Geno Smith would have to be over Will Levis
Yes,
at this point.
yes. I don't know where Levis is, but it's not good. He
not
better
good.
go. He better go early today. He better go early today.
Oh,
That's
he
all I
has
gotta
to.
say. He better go
Has to.
early today. I agree with Jay Rich. Algier could be in for Williams. It's just, and I just don't understand why people want Bijan to get the ball 30 times. It's just not. No,
You got to
They're-
look at the team, how they run their offense. It's very clear that we'll use 2 backs.
there
100%.
will be moments in a game where it's like we just got to ride the guy. Like, you're the hot hand, we're gonna go, but not week in and week out. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. We got a couple of super chats we're gonna get to, and here's the thing: Vaughn hit the nail on the head. And if Ridder is bad, they'll be in a prime spot to get a quarterback next year. That's just really what it is. Like, low risk, high reward, upside type thing. Matt Bruning. Desmond,
#1 Mason Ridder
motherfucking
fan right
Ridder. There he is right there. Marlon super chat. In a 10-team best ball super flex, should I take A Rich at 102 before Ray G, who's at 103? Go Birds.
Yes, Marlon, you do that 10 times out of 10.
Do what you want, Marlon. I'm right behind you, putting pressure. David from across the pond. With the Falcons' division and schedule, AFC South, NFC North, plus bottom feeders, are they worth a playoff bet? They were damn near there last year.
You should have been betting them on them already. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that they were a dark horse to win the NFC South. And right now, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, it's going to be interesting. I think it's worth a bet. I don't know what the odds are. Here goes one. Dawson Knox is another loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the
Yeah.
Falcons are second favorites behind the Saints to win the division. So
Makes sense.
275, nothing great. I'd probably rather take the Panthers at 350.
Would you offer 208 for Ridder in the 12-team Superflex PPR start 11? What are your...
Not yet.
Not
I would
yet.
Consider it though. Let's see what happens today. Yeah, let's see what happens today. But
It's not...
We could be there.
Let's wait.
There.
Wait, Ryan. Wait till tonight, right? Let's ask me this question later tonight. And again, night one winner, so maybe night one, Jake Ferguson. He was another one we talked about on the stream being on notice.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson, because they're taking Michael Mayer. And let me just say this, Jay, and we're gonna get out of here on this. Those mock drafts we've been looking at, when I say dead ass wrong, I mean
waste of time.
We do it every year. And it's an absolute cluster every time. I think the only ones that mockers got right was Bryce Young. I saw Bryce and CJ 1-2.
Yeah.
A Rich at 4, hit or miss.
Not
JSN
really, yeah.
to Seattle.
Yeah,
That
we saw
was
that.
Other than that, I don't know, Jay.
Nope, because Addison was supposed to go to the Chargers.
I
guess
know.
Zeta Baltimore, right? Zeta Baltimore was mocked
Zeta
pretty
Baltimore.
often, right?
Zeta
That was
Baltimore.
pretty
Okay.
common. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, the tackles all didn't go where they were supposed to go. They all went a pick ahead because Arizona took a tackle, right? So that pushed everyone down the board, and that kind of screwed over those picks. The Jets obviously made that trade with the Packers. That was kind of surprising. So that shifted the board a little bit too. But it's interesting. It did not go as expected.
All right,
and all
Jay,
the receivers, cluster of 4, man.
Super
Time to
flex.
figure out who it takes.
Super flex. Give me your top 5 in super flex. We're not going to go top 12. Give me your super flex top 5. Man, and I'm sorry, the super chat thing, they used to show like it would color the box so I can know. I can't even tell who sends a goddamn super chat, man. If y'all sent the super chat, resend it, just put it in the comment real quick. Just put sent super chat and ask the question again. Go ahead, Jay. Top 5 super flex.
So for me, it would be A-Rich, Bijan, Stroud, Young, and then Gibbs would be 5th.
You're taking Stroud over Bryce.
Yeah. I still believe in Stroud over Bryce. The situation doesn't really change that for me. Didn't love Houston. Didn't really love Carolina. And I think they're in the same boat now. So I'm just betting on the player that I think is the better talent. And for me, that's CJ Stroud.
Okay. Anthony Richardson. I'm there. I get it, y'all. You could black. I'm not even hedging anymore. There's no doubt Bijan Robinson is going to be a stud. He's awesome. I take him 101. But in Superflex, Jay, I'm taking A-Rich at 101. I'm not passing on that quarterback at 101. As good as Bijan is, let me tell you what's going to happen. In 2 years, when Nicholas Singleton is ready to declare and Bijan's old, just like I heard people yesterday talking about JT, oh, he's just a straight line runner, and he's like all these like kind of
getting up there in touches. After Bijan's played for 2 years, Nicholas Singleton's coming in, and people are going to be like, he's the best running back we've ever seen in our lives. Nicholas Singleton. Look at him. 28 miles an hour, Penn State. He's Saquon 2.0, but better. But if you hit this guy, there is no another A-Rich coming. I'm just there. I'm just taking him 101. I don't give a damn what anybody says. You can take Bijan and be happy. I'm taking Anthony Richardson 101, Bijan Robinson 102. I'm still going to go Bryce Young 103. Call me a sucker, but Gibbs at 104 over CJ Stroud. Okay.
I think I'm kind of there.
Okay.
I would probably take Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm playing for 2-3 years. What he can give me in 2 to 3 years, if I've roster constructed right, I will take I'll take Gibbs at 104. I'll take him one spot ahead of CJ Stroud. I'll take him one spot ahead of CJ Stroud. So, and I don't really.
And the receivers aren't even in the conversation at all.
No.
Zero.
Those are your top 5. Those are your top 5. Order them how you want. I'm not taking JSN, Addison, QJ, Zay Flowers. And even in a tight end premium league, 175.
Kincaid? Oh.
I'm not. Those are your top 5.
He's not even tight end 1.
Those are your top 5.
I bet by the top 10 picks, he won't be tight end 1.
Yeah, John said year 1 value for Gibbs could realistically climb to RB3.
You get there before the season starts. I mean, Swift is already RB6 half the time.
I'm out on this. Vaughn heard the same shit. They were talking about JT like he was Trent Richardson. I'm dead. I'm like, I turned around and I'm like, what?
What?
Like they were legit talking about him like he was like Trent Richardson, like he was just a bum, man. I'm just like, this is what we do with them running backs. All right, so later today, round 2 draft party. Yes, Hyatt and Levis and Charbonnet. Make sure you join us.
It's in the description. So hit the bell on the stream. Go check it out now. So you can. But yeah, we'll be going live draft party round 2 and 3. Going to be crazy. Bigger than yesterday, tonight. Ray. 1,000 people in there yesterday. We need more. We need more likes. We need more subscribers. We need more comments. Crazy. Crazy.
Standard rookie drafts. Single quarterback, Jay, right now. Single quarterback. Bijan Gibbs. JSN.
I would probably go JSN, Addison. Trying to figure out QJ is going to be impossible because I still don't want to draft him. But you got to draft him.
It's not impossible. You just have to separate your bias.
So actually,
it's not impossible.
Okay, but Ray, real question though, because I think this is important. Would you, if you are at, let's say 106, 107, and you're looking at receiver, would you trade back a couple spots because you don't really care which one you get between JSN, Addison, and QJ? Because I think that's how I would feel. I don't want to make the selection all the time. I may be looking to trade back and take one of the 3. right?
I'm fine with that.
I think that's probably how I would approach it in my rookie drafts right now.
And I think, Jay, the real winners, in my opinion, are the teams that had 101 and they traded back to like 102 and picked up additional capital. Like,
yes.
Man, if you were able to get like an extra first, a second for that 101, and you're sitting at 102, you're like, I'll take A-Rich. I'll take Bijan.
And you remember on the draft show or the trade show, a lot of people trading for and trading away 103s. And I kept looking at that 103 and I was like, that's a fantastic spot to have a pick because you really do have your choice. And for all we know, if you want to go Gibbs now, you could still take him at 103. You could take Stroud. You could take Young. You could take A-Rich if he's available. And you don't have to make that Bijan 101 pick. And like you said, people were like, Atlanta, I mean, I know he was rumored there, but I don't know. How much work is he going to get? Is the team any good? And now you got Stroud at 2, which no one expected. You got Young at 1, which we did expect. A-Rich now in Indy. They all seem like better spots.
I'm happy with how this played out. Wish we got the 4 quarterbacks in round 1, even if it was a Hendon Hooker. But you can't ask for anything more. We got 2 running backs with top 12 capital. We got 3 quarterbacks with top 4 capital. We got a tight end in round 1. We got 4 wide receivers in round 1. And to be honest with you, it's the 4 wide receivers that we all had ranked 1 through 4 for the most part. This was a great night for fantasy football purposes, man. People outside of our space were and may still be much lower on A-Rich. I wonder what the latest we'll see him fall in some leagues.
I think at this point, though, people will have to be in. To some degree. Maybe not fully, but they have to be in. Levis is gone. His value tanked. You got to be in on A-Rich if you're in a Superflex league. And if you're not, I don't know what you're doing.
I just want to look at Indy's offensive line rating were at for the end. Because I know they had like a down year last year. Oof.
Yeah.
Their rushing grade was awful. Let's go there. Not their run.
They got the best quarterback at avoiding sacks.
Okay, run blocking grade. They were 13th in the league. They were 13th or graded 13th in run blocking. Let's see, pass blocking for Indy. They were 23rd. So in between Detroit and the Rams. Offensive rating, they probably weren't very good. They were 29th, so this is an upgrade over. And they've been looking for a damn quarterback since Andrew Luck. So I'm with you, Alex. A-Rich, 101 for me in Superflex. That's just what it's going to be. All right. Appreciate everybody tapping in. We got some work to do, but we will be back here in a couple of hours. Thank y'all for being in the building, and we shall see y'all later tonight. Y'all know where to be, man. We out of the state. Oh, more giveaways. So we gave away
more giveaways.
We gave away Bijan jersey and a Bryce Young jersey last night. And we have the winner for the DD 1,000. First time we've ever hit 1,000 streams out. Brandon ran the challenge. We have the winners. I will post the winner of that today. If they don't claim it before the end of the night, we're going to re-roll it. And then that gift basket is going to combine with a signed jersey, some stuff from the South Harmon guys. And you're going to get a free Discord membership for the year if you're not already a sub. So appreciate everybody supporting us. Y'all know it. I said it. I don't say it lightly. I'm going to talk that shit because we deserve to talk that shit because we got the best fans in the building. Best damn draft stream out there. I don't care what fantasy service you listen to, watch. Nobody's better than what we're putting out there at DD. And we're going to keep that good shit coming tonight. So y'all rest up. Go to work. Knock out what you need to knock out on Friday. Cook that dinner for your wife. Hey, cook that dinner for your husband and get your ass in here tonight for round 2 and round 3. We'll be back later. We out. Peace. Before y'all close off of the video, I just want to say thank you for checking out the content on Destination Devy. Really appreciate every single view that we get. And the only thing that I ask is that you hit the thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel, and if you can, comment below for the algorithm. Really helps the channel grow. Now, if you want more exclusive access to me and the entire Destination Devy team, patreon.com/allgas gives you that access. Now, if your money's a little funny, we do have free content for you. Make sure you subscribe to the All Gas newsletter. There's a link in the description of this video below. And subscribe to the Destination Devy podcast radio feed, where we got all types of shows hitting airwaves every single week. Now y'all can get out of here. I appreciate y'all tapping in. It's All Gas all the time. I love y'all. I'm out of this thing. Peace.